Going back to our top story we're tracking here on DD India News Hour. Germans are voting to elect a new parliament. And joining us is Ambassador Gurjit Singh, former Indian ambassador to Germany. He joins us from Greater Noida. Now, welcome, sir, to the program. Could you tell us something
Thank you for
more?
having me.
Could you tell us something more about the economic problems that Germany is facing, once a shining star in Europe, and how migration has come to be a major electoral issue this time?
Thank you. Yes, Germany was the star performer of Europe in where the economy was concerned, and it was always the economic powerhouse. But its ability to perform, particularly post-COVID in the last 4 years, has been dismal, and its rate of growth has fallen to under 1% this year. So this is not looking good because a large part of the welfare measures that Germany undertakes for its people comes from a robust economy, and that is not happening. The second thing is that the cutting of the relationship with Russia removed the cheap energy source that Germany had. As a result, their energy costs have gone up, and these impacts people and industry equally. And people are very concerned. There is a recession ongoing in Germany. The retail prices are high, unemployment is rising, and German companies are begging for relief. They are now telling the parties that please look for economic restructuring because tinkering of policy will not lead to a solution. Therefore, Germany requires now a heavy dose of energy supplies which are more reasonably priced for this reopening with Russia, and it needs solid markets for its exports, read China. So these are, I think, some of the reasons why the economy is not doing well, because they have tried to follow a new path and they have not really succeeded.
Okay. In the event that no party secures an absolute majority as is expected, what are the other likely political scenarios?
So, Germany has a proportional representation system. And in July last year, they tinkered with it further. So even a variation of the earlier proportional representation is being used in this Bundestag election for the first time. Instead of 733 seats in the parliament, they will now have 635 seats. Now, if the AFD, as widely expected, let us say gets 140 seats, 140 out of 733 can be more easily ignored than 140 out of 635. So I think that perspective is important to know. Secondly, a very large number of new voters have been registered, about 2 million. It is large because the total electorate has come down from 61 million to about 59 million. But there are 2 million new voters, out of which 750,000 are legalized migrants who have acquired German citizenship in the last 3 years. Out of these 750,000, almost 250,000 are Syrians. These people are going to be voting for the first time. So the young German voter and the new immigrant voter are going to play a significant role, at least in the immediate outcome. The immigrants are not expected to vote for the AFD, but the young German voter may very well vote AFD because they see that as change in what the centrist parties have been doing with them since World War II.
Okay. Far-right AFD are projected to have a strong night. How do you explain the rise of the far-right political party, the AFD, in German politics?
The most surprising thing is that the AFD rise is actually in Eastern Germany, which was the communist part of Germany. So it should have been least susceptible to such a right-wing movement. But they are the most anti-immigrant. So, they want a more autonomous economy. They are Eurosceptic and want to reintroduce the Deutschmark leave the euro, leave the EU if necessary, but they want an economy which is autonomous. At the same time, they want strict controls on immigration and what they call remigration, which basically means throwing out foreigners, even if they are German citizens. Rather tough stand on this. But given the state of the German economy and the security problems caused by immigrants, many common Germans actually believe that their economic and security problems stem from immigration. And the AFD is riding that crest. In the last few weeks, AFD's voting share has gone up by about 2%. So I think there need to be alarm bells on this. Of course, all the centrist parties are saying that no, we will have nothing to do with the AFD. But as I told you, if the AFD gets 140 or 150 seats out of 635, it is well nigh impossible to ignore them. And they are most likely to be the second largest party in the Bundestag. If you can't run a two-party coherent coalition and have to go for 3 or 4 parties, then I don't see why the CDU, for instance, would not work with the AFD on issues, not form a coalition, but on issues. Like recently, when the AFD came along with them on an immigration bill. So I don't think it is possible to ignore the AFD if they get these large numbers anymore.
And why is this election being considered crucial for Germany and Europe? And could it affect support for Ukraine? Could it affect the support for Ukraine with its conflict with Russia?
So I don't think this is a foreign policy election. But yes, many analysts attribute these facts. But I think that is a bit of a misreading. It is an election about the economic and domestic future of Germany, for which they want to rewrite the social compact, particularly the young people and the legalized migrant. Now, the two mainstream parties have not been successful. So they have to take new ideas, and it is not only the AFD, but also the left party and the left offshoot, the BSW, which are coming in as new forces into the Bundestag. Now, if you extrapolate the policies of these parties, then yes, you do get skepticism on Europe from the AFD. You get the AFD is also pro-Russian and anti-Ukraine. But the centrist parties believe that Germany, having gone to support Ukraine, now cannot ditch Ukraine, even though the Americans are likely to do so. But you never know. Their decision for them may be taken between the Americans and the Russians, and Germany may not have a kind of Ukraine that they have been supporting, and therefore they may be saved. But some analysts believe that the AFD will lead to a pro-Ukraine policy. I think that is again a wrong assessment. The AFD is clearly anti-Ukraine. So therefore, if you think that the people of Germany who are voting AFD are also voting for Ukraine, that is a contradiction which is not easily understood. So I think it is better to look at the election as a domestic election, which will have ramifications on Germany's position in the European Union and consequently on the policies towards Russia, China, and consequently also Ukraine, and of course the transatlantic alliance with the United States.
Okay. And would the outcome of the elections in Germany in any way affect its relations with India, or will they remain undisturbed?
If we are looking for more investment from Germany, I think in the immediate future, more German investment is likely to be domestic. So I think that may slow down. But otherwise, there is a functional relationship between India and Germany. Germany needs bigger markets. Germany needs a strong pole in the Indo-Pacific, and Germany needs a democratic partner like India. So on all matters, I think Germany would continue to engage India, though it may not be in the top priority of the immediate ideas that Germany needs to do. But also, I don't think we will be held to check and balance right now. So we should be able to deal with them more comfortably and watch what they are doing and then react to it.
Okay, it's just a few hours from now when results start trickling in. Thank you very much, Ambassador Gurjit Singh ji, for sparing your time and being with us and shedding light on the story.